So as soon as you create an account, you'll be greeted by this page, and this is Voiceflow giving an introduction to their platform. Now, what you can see on the right side is called a chat widget. A chat widget is essentially what we'll be creating with the demo build, and it's something that you can chat with using AI, creating your own build. You can see here it says, ask a question and I'll use AI to answer it. It's trained on the web page that we uploaded. For example, we could ask the question, what services do you offer? Now, for us, we just used voiceflow.com as the website, but let's say you were to put in jointherealworld.com. It would have been able to answer questions on the real world. So to get rid of this chat widget on the right, we're going to click this little arrow for it to drop down. Now we are in the knowledge base page. Do not worry about this. We're going to break it down in a future lesson. For now, what we should do is go over to the workflow tabs and then click go to canvas. This now brings up what we call the designer in Voiceflow. So Voiceflow recently has made some big updates. If you've been in this campus previously, we had a different walkthrough of this exact lesson. So the little demo that we're seeing here is slightly different than that of the previous one we went over. So let's just walk through this one now to give you guys a good introduction to the Voiceflow platform. So this is a basic workflow that I'm going to be walking you through. You can see here you have a start flag, and then it goes through these nodes which controls the conversation logic. So if I wanted to just test this workflow out, you could come up to the right and hit run, and then we could hit run test. So after you run it, you can see we are on this first box which is highlighted, and you can see here we have, hi there, I'm your new AI agent. Ask a question and I'll use AI to answer it. You can see these messages correspond directly with the little rectangles that are in the first box. Right now we are on this other rectangle that's waiting for us to type something in the chat, which you can see it's saving the entire reply to a question variable. Think of this as a box that can store information and can be accessed throughout the conversation with the agent. So when I reply here, it's going to take that response and put it into that box, which can then be sent to a prompt step where AI is going to respond to what we type in this chat. So right now I can say how many planets are in our solar system and then send it. Then it would tell us that there are 8 planets in our solar system: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, and then it goes on. So what this is doing right now is essentially just using an AI model to respond to our message. Let's go ahead and check out how this works. If we just click this button where it says answer the question, you can see this is what is called a prompt step. And this is where we can tell AI how it should respond to the user's questions. So if we want to just go in and click this pencil button, we're going to see the interface for how we can actually mess with our AI models. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to settings, and you can now see as default it is using Claude 3.5 as our AI model. We could click this drop down and select different AI models, for example ChatGPT 4o mini. So let's just go ahead and do that. Then we can set a couple different settings which we don't need to get into just yet. So you can see here we have a user question. Like I said, this is a variable that we're giving to the AI model to then respond. So we have question, and then we have whatever we type in the chat. An example of this is, how many planets are there in the solar system? And if we run this, it's going to ask us to enter the value for our question just because we're testing this AI step specifically. So for example, if I were to write, how is fire made, and then hit run, AI is going to answer our question very similarly to how ChatGPT or any other large language model would. We'll get into more different stuff that we can do with this interface in upcoming lessons, but this is just a basic rundown of how it works. So this was the basics of Voiceflow and how the conversation logic works. Obviously, we're going to get into more complex things in upcoming lessons, but for the most part, you start at the starting flag, and then the arrows point and control the logic of the conversation. Eventually, we'll end up setting if statements, so you can say, if one condition is true, move to this node. If another condition is true, move to a different node. But don't worry about these for now. Let's just go ahead and explore the rest of the user interface. You can see we have knowledge. This is where we upload different data sources, such as documents that we want our AI agents to be able to pull information from. Workflows, which you saw earlier, are different conversations that we can set up, similar to the one we've just walked you through. We have messages, which are predefined messages that we use in our workflow. Prompts, which is something I showed to you briefly in our AI step. We'll get into these again in upcoming lessons. Components, events, variables, just like the question one I showed you. Functions, intents, and entities. Now, all of these will be covered again in upcoming lessons, but for now you need to understand these are advanced features. You don't need to worry about them just yet. Now, for a quick overview of the tabs on the left, we have integration, which is how we can use this information to actually deploy our agent to our website. Publish, which is basically a concept that allows us to determine what we want our final version of the AI agent to be. Transcripts, which shows us any conversation between the users and our AI agent. Analytics, which shows us different integrations with our AI agent and overall general settings, and then different settings we can mess with for further control over our AI agent. All of this we'll get into shortly. In the next lesson, we're going to actually create a lead capture bot or AI agent, which can collect the information of a user and then forward that to a CRM to perform whatever actions we would like to take.